Hi, welcome to the latest in the series of Irish Ancestors videos. Senior moment there, excuse me. Today I'm going to be talking about weird Irish surnames that shouldn't be Irish but are. Okay, this is indulge me. This is the result of my um, surname fetish going back 30 years. So let's dive straight in. Right, here we are at the homepage of the site, johngrenham.com. The first surname I'm going to talk about is this one. It's Mongoven. Mongoven. There we go. Mongoven, as you can see from this, it's very strongly a Clare surname, all 21 households in Clare. The reason I'm talking about this is that um, almost 30 years ago, um, when with the family we were renting a holiday home in the village of Quilty in County Clare, and we pulled up at the door of the people renting it and got the keys, and they introduced themselves, and the man said his name was, I think it was John Mongoven. I had never heard the surname in my life. I was flabbergasted. I thought it was wonderful. Fireworks went off, and this was the moment I realized, okay, I have a thing about surnames. Um, and I also, when I went back and started looking through the records, I realized that there are loads of surnames like this. In other words, surnames that are really local, really peculiar to the ear. I mean, Mongovan, what is that? That could be Mongolian, to the untrained ear. So Mongovan is the one that set me off. And it's the one, if you follow some of these talks, and if you follow some of the examples I give in other things, Mongovan comes up again and again. And that's why, because Mongovan is the match that lit the fireworks, so to speak. One of the other reasons I tend to use it a lot is because if you look over here at this list of variants, these are just variants in Griffith's valuation. So they're all in the same record, and they're all in County Clare, and there are loads and loads of them. Mongavan, Mongiven, Mugavin, and let's go into Mugavin and go into Clare for Mugavin and zoom in using Control Scroll, and there you see the village of Quilty, where where we had our holiday 30 years ago, and I'm perfectly sure one of those 9 Mugovan households there are some of the people who rented us the house. And just by the by, if anybody out there is a fan of Vladimir Nabokov, the Russian American writer, um, he collected butterflies as a very strong hobby, and in the 1920s, he went to Quilty to collect butterflies and spent the entire summer sitting indoors watching the rain. Um, and 30 years later, published Lolita, one of whose main protagonists is called Claire Quilty. There you are. Strange factoids you didn't know. Anyway, Mugovan, the one that started it all off. Um, Another one that I really like because it sounds to me like nothing on earth, like Birhagra. What in the name of God is Birhagra? Look at the variants. Baragri, Berkri. Okay, it is an Irish surname. It's MacBerhagra, a variant of MacBerhagra. They were Brehons to the O'Neills, but now found only in Munster. Okay, and again, the most common version of it now is Berkery, and there you are again, like Mongovan, it's highly localized. It's almost entirely in East Limerick, West Tipperary. Um, Again, one of these wonderful, peculiar names that, if you see it, I mean, a nightingale sang in Berkeley Square. It could very well be a Jewish surname. It could be an English surname, but it's not. It's Irish. Um, another interesting one is, I'm just going to take this from the surnames page. Then is Qua. How in the name of God is that a surname? I said to myself when I first saw it, but it is. And again, like Mongovan and Clare, like Berhagra and Limerick, it's highly localized. They're all in Armagh. How did it come about? it came about by the anglicization of surnames when they dropped the Mac. So they were Macquas. Here they're Macquas. The Macquas are further north, but it's from Okui, Makui, the son of Makwa, the son of Hugh. Okay, that's the basic origin of it. But again, what? Okay, enough said. Um, Another surname that shouldn't really be Irish, I always think, is this one, and it's quite a well-known surname in Ireland, is Heatherman. That looks to me Jewish or English, again, highly localized, concentrated in Limerick. They're a family very well known in Irish public life. They're doctors and lawyers and so on. And it is an anglicization of an old Gaelic Irish surname, O'Hadermon, meaning grandson of the um, light, fickle. That's okay. Delightful, I think, is how the Hedemans would prefer to translate it. Um, it's another one that again shouldn't be Irish, but is Cohen, as in Leonard, the well-known Jewish singer-songwriter from Canada. No, Cohen, they're all over the place, as you can see. This is not localized, and that's because it's a variant anglicization of a much broader surname, O'Kane, which can be Cowan, it can be Kane, it can be Cohen. So Cohen, many Cohens there. The surname dictionary will tell you it's a well-known Jewish name, and some of those Cohens are no doubt of Jewish lineage. Very few of them, I would think. If you see where they are, they're in the west of Ireland. There are very few in the major cities, which is where the Jewish surname should be concentrated. But again, Cohen, what is an Irish surname? Can you tell one by listening to it? If one walked up to you in the street, would you recognize it? Um, let's try another one. Walter. There's a localized surname. Walter, like Qua. This is another one of these peculiar drop the Mac surnames. So it was MacWalter, Mac Walter, son of Walter. They were a branch of the Burgos, the Burkes of Connacht, and they're highly concentrated in Galway and South Mayo, as you can see. Um, if you go in and look at the areas, you can see it's Tuam, Clare, Galway, Dunmore, Glenamaddy. Okay, it's a very, very particular area of the country. Again, um, part of my collecting mania. Another surname that shouldn't be Irish, but is Lavelle. Lavelle sounds so lovely, sort of French, Norman English. But no, there they are. If you look at them, they're in Mayo and they're there. And there's 87 of them in Achill, and how many of them in Belmullet? 78 of them in Belmullet. So if you come across somebody with the surname Lavelle in Ireland, they're almost certainly from Mayo, and they're almost certainly from West Mayo, the Atlantic coast. But as a surname, it to me sounds um, as if it shouldn't be Irish, but it's Omwe of Howell. Okay, McFall is another anglicization of it. Lol, Melville is also another anglicization of it. So, but Lavelle is by far the most common. Okay, moving swiftly on. Linsky. The surname Linsky is one that Linsky, why? Linsky, Tovarich. They should be Russian. Of course they're Russian. No, they're not. They're from Mayo. And again, up there with the Lavelles in Belmullet. So if you have a Linsky married to a Lavelle, you've pretty much got exactly where they come from. Um, there's another one of my favorites is also Western surname Vizard, which is highly concentrated in Mayo, Sligo particularly, Achonry parish in County Sligo particularly. Again, the first time I met somebody called Vizard, my jaw dropped. But they're perfectly normal Irish people, insofar as any Irish person is normal. Um, Let me throw another one at you. Naan, as in naan bread. There they are, the naans in Fermanagh. Um, and again, it's Onahan, perhaps from Nathan in the Bible. But Nan, again, if you come across somebody called Nan, the presumption is that they're married to Chutney, perhaps. But no, it's a perfectly respectable Irish surname. Um, Another perfectly respectable Irish surname is English. Um, you can see it's very widespread. It's heavily concentrated in Tipperary, and there's a long streel of them up through Louth and Armagh into Belfast and so on. Um, they, it's obviously the origin of it is people who are English who settled in Ireland, but it's an Irish surname. You won't find it in England, obviously, because they're all English. Okay, so it's a surname that only exists in Ireland, describing people as English. And another nice little paradox. And interestingly enough, there is also the opposite surname, Irish. And what, how the heck did that come about? It came about because areas that were heavily colonized by the English or the Normans, that there were Irish towns. There were parts of the cities, particularly, and you can see there that's South Kilkenny, Waterford, that were restricted, to which the Irish were restricted. And the surname, this is the English calling the Irish Irish, but it's an Irish surname. This surname does exist in England for obvious reasons. Um, Finally, let me go to surnames that I find a little on the absurd side. Daffy. The first time I came across this, I thought that's a misspelling for Duffy. No, 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 it's not. Again, highly localized, highly concentrated around South Clare, the Ennis area of Clare. Um, but inevitably, when I saw Daffy, I thought duck, um, Daffy Duck. And when I thought of Daffy Duck, I thought of um, Porky Pig. And there are pigs, but not in Griffiths. I thought of um I thought of Bugs Bunny, of course. Who else? And there you are. There are plenty of bunnies. Again in Kilkenny, down there with all the Irish. Um, anyway, I'm going to leave you with Bugs and Daffy, and I went looking for Fuds to see if there were Elmer Fuds. There might be an Elmer Fudd in Ireland, but unfortunately, no Fuds. So we'll have to make do with Bugs and Daffy and Porky. Anyway, um, as you can see, I have surnames have driven me a little crazy. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed sharing some of the craziness with me. Thanks for listening.